Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this free event for notaries called What to Look For in a RON Platform. I'm really glad that you're here and contributing part of your Tuesday afternoon for us for this session because choosing the right RON platform has become one of the biggest points of confusion that I see in our industry. And there's a lot of options out there, which results in a lot of clutter, but not always a lot of clarity. So today's call is about just cutting through that noise so you can make a confident decision that actually supports your business goals. And I'm joined by two people who are the exact right people to have this conversation with. Of course, we've got the fabulous Judy Lawrence, who's the queen of apostees and one of the most knowledgeable, trusted voices in uh, not only notarization, but in apostees. She's been helping notaries and apostee agents navigate the complex processes for years, and she knows exactly where the pitfalls and opportunities are when it comes to building a modern notary business. Judy, want to say hi to everybody?
Hi to everybody. Nice to be here with both my Bills, Bill Gimbel and Bill Soroka. And I think this is going to be something that you need to pay careful attention to. I seem to recall that when Ron started, and Bill, you can correct me, Bill Gimbel, maybe there were 8 platforms and now there's like 60.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Quite a
And
few.
there are platforms that offer this and offer that, and you have to pick the one that is going to be the safest and give you the most benefit. This is not something that you should worry if it costs you $1 more. Safety is so important. And remember, and then I'll turn it back over to Bill. But remember something. Um, this is Ron is relatively new and there's not a whole lot of precedent yet. So again, I that's why I love secured signing because they really worry about their notaries and they really worry about doing it right. And Bill Gimbel is going to talk to you about some of the things. It'll blow your mind. So
Yeah.
I think I'm supposed to turn this over now to my colleague and dear friend, Bill Soroka.
Yes, awesome. Thank you, Judy. I totally forgot to introduce myself too, but Judy and I have been collaborating and working together for years. My name is Bill Soroka. I'm the founder of notarycoach.com and of course the high performance notary community on the school platform, the largest in the world for notaries. All there for you. And Judy introduced me to Bill Gimbel from Secured Signing. So I'm very excited about this presentation today. Now, Bill has been deep in in the Ron world since the very beginning, working on technology, security, workflow, and specifically compliance issues that most notaries have never even seen. So he brings a level of insight that's hard to find because he understands both the technical side and what it's like for notaries who are trying to run a real business. So between the three of us, our goal today is simple. We just want to help you understand what truly matters when evaluating a RON platform so you can choose one that fits your needs, supports your clients, and helps you grow instead of just creating more frustration or unnecessary expense. So you're going to walk away today with clarity, confidence, and even a checklist. I know you love checklists. Bill's
Hmm.
hooked us up. So there's a checklist at the end that you can use to compare any platform side by side. So this is one of those conversations that saves you time, money, and a whole lot of second guessing. So with that, let's jump in. Bill Gimbel, welcome. Come on up.
Okay. Hi, guys. Thanks so much. And I appreciate your attendance and dedication to crafting your career in a professional, protective, compliant environment. I have been in the notary business since 97. Did my first run in July of 2013. I'm the architect on 2 other platforms and a consultant to the third. And to quote the Helen Reddy song, which explains my hair, the wisdom born of pain. So what I'm trying to do is avoid the pain for you guys. So what we'll be presenting is a checklist that Bill's going to send you at the end of the day. In cooperation with the NNA and the American Society of Notaries, we created an agnostic list because one of the big problems we knew early on is the notaries don't know the questions to ask. You don't know what you don't know. So this checklist will allow you, as Bill said, to compare platform to platform to platform and ask informed questions. So with that, do you want me to begin, Bill? Should I share my screen or?
Yeah, it's turned over to you, my friend.
Okay, let's click here, share, and do you see my screen?
Yes,
Yep,
we do
yes, we do.
now. What to look for in the RON platform.
There we go. Secure signage you see in the pop-up. We've been in business 15 years. Are a global company. We have users such as potentially yourselves in 75 countries with signers throughout the world. So let's get right to it. As Bill said, there are 33 semi-legitimate platforms available out there. And it's really both operationally and legally, the notary is responsible for choosing a platform that is compliant and is secure and operates in a fashion that allows them to build, grow, and protect their business. And hopefully today will assist you in those efforts to evaluating which way is the best way for you to go. And also, I'm not an attorney, so we're not offering legal advice, and some of the elements that we may mention during the presentation may or may not be available to you in your jurisdiction. So again, please understand your rules, provisions, restrictions, and authorizations that allow you to conduct a RON, IPEN, RIN, e-signature transaction within your venue. Again, quickly about secured signing. We're rated in the top 3 worldwide as an e-sign platform. Honestly, we're behind DocuSign and Adobe. We're rated in the top 3 by Google as a platform. And a couple of important things, I'm going to go over this in a bit more detail, is our certifications. See all these ISO, SOC, HIPAA, FDA, MISMO, CCPA, GDPR. What that means is that we have hired at no small expense independent third-party auditors to come in and look at our workflow, our process, our security, run intrusion tests to now determine that we're indeed a very secure, compliant platform. And what this means to you, if you ever run into a problem, you can prove through these certifications that you are using a platform that independent, worldwide recognized authorities have marked as being both compliant as well as secure. So that's like an insurance policy for you guys. With regards to GDPR, that's the Europe General Data Protection Rules for Europe. And if your client happens to be overseas, that will apply to you. Another thing to mention that would be important is we have 4 server farms throughout the world. Anything that originates in the US, UI, UX, IXI, storage, transmission, archiving is all within the United States. Okay. This looks very much like the form that Bill's going to send you. It's a checklist where you can play vendor to vendor to vendor, and you can ask intelligent, informed questions. And with regards to questions, I did I say very? I think so. Very much encourage you to ask as many questions as possible in the chat. I can guarantee you, if you're thinking of it, so is someone else. So let's please help one another and ask as many questions as you can possibly ask. Okay, with regards to security and compliance, probably one of the major issues that I see out there among even some more popular platforms is the ability for a signer to sign a document without the notary being present, which is Notary 101. You can't do that. So make sure the platform will only allow a signer to sign a document when you grant them specific permission and you are in observation. The audit log says you're both operating off the same screen simultaneously. Again, I mentioned the third-party certifications that guarantee you that the platform exhibits a best practice environment. And does that platform have the ability to verify the identity of non-US citizens, person that has no social security number? Now, again, in some venues disallow this from happening. You must run a KVA. So again, if your venue allows you to run, let's say, an ID verification with video confirmation and verification that the ID is used properly, the ID has all elements that occur in that ID's venue, and that the biometric face match matches that of the person on the ID. We have a fairly new product. It's been out a while, called Deepfake. It's both audio and video, and I'll pause towards the end of my demo to show you how that works. Particularly in today's world, it's an unfortunate necessity, and you can exhibit the advantage over other notaries using other platforms, because right now we are the only platform that operates in both an audio and video deepfake environment. With regards to your journal, are you able to make entries during, pre, and post signing? You can't erase elements, but can you enter them? You should be able to enter them in all three environments, before, during, and after. Can you download that journal yourself with no additional cost? If the platform goes out of business, if you stop subscribing, can you still access your journal? Those are important questions to ask. And another, unfortunately, not well-known issue is that some venues, some states, and certainly some verticals, some markets, do not want to have the notary have the actual document itself in their journal in the recording. So, of course, during the presentation, you're going to see the entire documents, all the documents. You can review those with your client, but the recording that will be kept in your journal does not display the document, and that's an option. So that's something you should be aware of. Does the document come with a completion certificate? And what that is it's a mini audit trail. And is that certificate tamper sealed against any playing around or any messing with it, so that you can send that audit trail along with the document to your client, and it goes over the IP address, the geolocation, the important critical elements such as agree to the use of digital signatures and electronic technology. That comes with the document, and you can send that at your election on to the client. And again, that document itself should be tamper sealed. With our platform, the signer signature is PKI application. It's not just a digital signature. It is, which is just a picture of a signature. Ours are traceable and verifiable. You could actually take a document that was executed on our platform. It doesn't even necessarily have to be notarized. It just could be signed, and you can verify that the signatures are genuine. So the platform should really use PKI applications for signer side signature and not just a digital image picture. And of course, are all acts supported, and are all IDs supported. We support literally a little over 15,000 government issued picture IDs from over 200 countries. And that's really as a result of us being a global company. And will the platform provide you with all the ID values, personally known, KBA, credential analysis, biometric face match, witness, credible witness? And I think it's worth mentioning on KBA, which is in the environment of identity verification, it's what you know. The knowledge-based authentication rules for that are promulgated by a federal act, the Federal Bridge Act. 5 questions, 2 minutes. You got to get 4 or 5. You get 1 repeat. Those questions are then gained from credit bureaus. That's how they're promulgated, from a credit bureau. So you can see if a signer does not have a credit repository history in the United States, they couldn't run a KBI, just FYI. Also, in many states, it's a requirement that you are able to view the ID that was used to guarantee identity, so that you can show the ID in the middle of a session. And I'll show you how that works during the demo. Can you insert your notarial certificate in the middle of a doc set? We know many times we'll get doc sets that, let's say you're a Texas notary and it has a Louisiana acknowledgement because it may be a rental property. You have to have the ability to insert within the doc set that proper acknowledgement. And that's a critical element. And again, we'll show you that during the demonstration. And again, I'm going over a lot of things. All this will be in the exhibit that that Bill sends you. Does the platform monitor for mistakes? If you don't enter your journal, will you get a pop-up say, hey, you forgot to do this or that? Also, the platform should not allow you to execute if either your commission or your certificate, if you're in a state that requires you to purchase your own X509 digital certificate, has expired. Now, we do send out warnings. Okay, your certificate, your notary certificate is going to expire in 30 days. Please notice after this date, you will not be able to transact on the platform. So we do send alerts with regards to that. Also, can you forward the signers a secured link to download the document? Now, this is very important. After a client has signed the document, we really don't, and in some verticals it's prohibited, to be sending documents willy-nilly around the internet via email. So the platform should allow you to send your client an email with a link and a security code that goes right to the secure server and then downloads directly from the secure server directly to the signer's device. Or at the end of the session, can they click on a link that allows them again to download that executed document directly to their device? And that's very, very important. You should be able to, or the platform should offer you a referral to an independent third party that lets you know what's their uptime over the last 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 years. Because, a platform can be great, but if it doesn't have a lot of uptime, we have 99.9% up, that's a problem. Application of signatures. Some venues require signatures to be represented, the intent, I should say, the intent to sign, represented by different physical representations. Could be a font. They can upload an actual image of their signature. They could draw on their scratch pad or their screen, or draw on their cell phone and have that put on the document. And that becomes very, very important when you have signers signing in multiple capacities. John Jones as grantor, John Jones as attorney in fact, John Jones as attorney in fact for Jane Jones. So you should be able to address all those valuations of variables that occur across the market. And again, as I mentioned, the UI, the UX, the recording, the archives should be contained here within the US. Okay, that is the kind of Cliff Note overview of what you should look for with regards to security. Bill, any questions on that portion? Or guys, any questions on that portion so far?
Right now, it looks like not quite on that.
Okay, and again, guys, I encourage you to ask a lot of questions. We're going kind of fast because we have a lot of stuff to cover in a short period of time. And that's why Bill is going to make this recording available to you guys for later view. Okay,
Excuse me for 1 second. Daniel Brewer raised his hand.
Yes.
Great.
Bill?
Yeah.
Give me 1 second, guys. It's not set up for questions. We're just hoping that you use the chat, but I'm going to go ahead and unlock this. Give me 1 second. All right. Do we have a question about, Dan, what has been covered so far? You should be able to unmute and ask.
Yeah, my question is, you said there's a space in there there's a step in there for a link to be sent to the signer when the document is over, so they can pull the document down and just have it saved to their own device. Is there a way we can see the completed document
Oh, of
before
course.
they do that? So, could I like to double check anything before I release it to them?
Yeah, and double checking is very important, and we have that ability to do both in preparation and in the middle of the signing. So we'll be showing you that in the demo. Yeah, you can determine, and many of our notaries, about half and half bill in advance. The other half, they complete the session, they issue an invoice, the invoice is paid, and the document is then released to the client. Typically, an email is sent with a link and a security code for the signer to download the document.
Awesome. Great question. Thanks, Dan. All right. Susan asked, under the types of ID supported, it listed CA. What is that?
A credential analysis. Um, Typically, and the way that works, and it's important to understand, credential analysis, there are two states that produce about 38 to 40 of the U.S. driver's license, as an example. What a credential analysis looks for is, do all the elements that's supposed to be in that state's ID, are they present? The font type, the font size, the watermarks, the holograms. Does the barcode on the back represent the data that's on the front? So technically, if you made a perfect copy, it would pass because they are looking for a an set of elements that should appear there. Now, the good news is, and this is kind of I'm going to leak a little bit here. We are bringing out a deep fake ID test so that if a perfectly crafted ID that was not genuine was made, our platform will discover it. And that will be coming out shortly after the first of the year.
Wow.
So that's actually probably more prolific than deep fake audio video. So that's an exciting, it's really a fairly complex process. So it's in beta right now. So that's going to be an exciting release after the first of the year.
Yeah, awesome.
Okay,
Great questions.
yes, love questions, guys. And remember, if you're thinking of it, so is someone else. So let's help one another and ask as many as possible. Okay, workflow requirements. Does the platform include RON, IPIN, RIN, e-signatures, and e-signatures with video confirmation? These three elements are a great way to migrate your customers from paper-based to electronic signings. As you know, all your customers are going to have some sort of e-signature platform to send either trailing documents or documents to be signed. What we offer, and then you can offer, is e-signatures with video confirmation. Now, the way that works is a signature, a document is sent out for signature, not notarization, just signature. When the client clicks on the signature line, it opens up their camera. They're given a liveness command. Bring your chin to your chest, your left ear to your left shoulder. When that is done, then the signature is applied onto the document, proving actually who signed that document. It wasn't my brother or my evil twin or one of the kids. It was actually me that signed it. It's used a lot of times in HR work, and there's no additional cost of that to you. So you can use that as a segue for clients that are giving you follow-up paperwork to be signed. You can add video confirmation, and you can upcharge for that. It's included with our platform at no additional charge. From there, you can go to IPEN, in-person electronic notarization, which follows the paper-based workflow. You go out to your client, you meet them face-to-face, you present the documents instead of having 2 inches of paper. You have your laptop, your pad, your tablet. They sign on that. The advantage is the document's going to be tamper sealed. The client's going to get an actual copy of the real signed documents immediately. Your customer is going to get their documents back immediately. There's no fax backs, there's no FedEx, and it is literally cheaper to do an IPN on our platform than it is to just print the documents. And we do have demonstrations every Wednesday that shows that if that's of an interest. Can the signers use multiple devices, a laptop, a tablet, an iPad, cell phones, and switch between them in a live session? Where it is common, we had one the other day where a notary had a Mr. and Mrs. signing, logged in, Mrs. appeared, my husband got called into work, and can we reschedule for 2 o'clock today? Fine. They signed Mrs., sent on a new invite to Mr. at 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 2:05 comes, the signer's not there, so the notary calls Mr. Well, yeah, I'm here at the university and I can't log in. Well, of course they can't. They're behind a firewall that prevents the AV handshake. So she told him, just switch to your cell phone and we'll do it there. And we do have included with your subscription a test you can send your signers to see if they are indeed behind a firewall that will prevent an AV handshake. And that's important to distinguish. Very important. Adding missing elements in the middle of a signing. Can you insert your state's acknowledgement? Or if you're live in the signing, can you add a missed signature? Can you add a missed notarial act? That's very important. Does the platform allow for multiple signers from different geographic locations in a live session? Technically, we can do 50. Honestly, the most I've ever seen is 12. Multiple signers from different times and different days, different locations, and accommodate that. Can multiple signers sign from one device and one email address? That's going to occur. So the platform should be able to accommodate that. If you have, as I mentioned earlier, two signers, one got called to work, can you reschedule after one signer is executed? So that those are elements that are going to occur in your environment, and you have to have the ability to administer those. We do have the ability to read smart tags. If you're working with a title company, and we can assist you in this, we will read their native documents and you don't have to tag anything. It will be auto tagged. We would need to work with you and your client to do that. Do they have, or do you have the option, if it would better serve your clients, that the default invitation to the session and all instructional pop-ups that occur during the session appear in Spanish? And that's a signer by signer election. One could be English, one could be Spanish. Does the platform allow you to have your client upload a stipulation in the middle of a signing? Let's say they were sent a well clearance report that they needed to sign and then scan. Can they upload that in the middle of the session as an exhibit? Can you have multiple notaries within your account? Of course, they're all separate journals. And there's a great benefit to that. And very quickly, the benefit is if you are let's say a Nevada notary, and you get a request to do a signing for a person that does not have a U.S. resident profile, can't pass a KBA, which is required. If you had a Florida notary in your network, you could assign that to your Florida notary who can do does not have to do KBA, but can do ID verification with biometric face match. So you don't have to turn down signings. As you know, signing services and enterprises love to give sessions to people. Yep, I'll take everything. I'll just get it done. Give it to me. I'll get it done. So you can employ different notaries within your network to do those acts that you're not authorized to do within your venue. Does the platform allow you to brand it? Meaning that your client, the signer, believes it's your platform. It's got your logo, emails come out from your domain if you own it. We include a web page that you can brand. So it's your platform. And on that, there's a very important consideration. If your platform requires your customer to register on the platform prior to engaging, that means they're going to market directly to them. And we've seen this. It was a big deal at the last NNA meeting, platforms poaching clients from notaries. So be very aware of that. Live training, help desk, foreign phone support, specific onboarding. I fully believe that Ron is to notaries what Excel was to accountants years ago. You really have to practice, you have to study, and you need support. That's critical. Price versus cost, important factor. Most platforms require an annual fee, if not a monthly fee. The consideration is if you have to purchase credits. Now, credit is $1. And as we know, all elements, all recordings, transactions of an event, notarial event, must be recorded and archived. That typically costs around 5 credits. So does your platform require you to purchase credits in advance? And if you don't use them, you lose them. So it's important to know that if I purchase a credit for a future event, does that credit ever expire? If I purchase credits for a future event and I schedule it out of my credit bank and that session cancels, can I return the credits that were reserved for that future transaction back into my credit bank? Again, difference between price and cost. Okay, now it's on to the demo. Get back here to the right spot. Bill, any questions on the second half?
No, I've got everything pretty much answered in the chat right now.
Good.
But I think we'd love to see the demo.
Okay, let's jump on here. I'm going to log into the platform. And Bill, you see my screen?
No, I'm going to stop sharing your presentation and then you'll have to choose to do again.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought. So thought I would check. Okay, voila. Are
We
we
have a
there?
couple of questions. Do you want
Yeah,
to
sure. Let's
answer
take
these
them.
first? Okay, so Brian asks, what does the service cost? Is it available in Pennsylvania? I'm sure you'll get to that. Do you want to answer that now or after the
Yeah. I'll go over cost specifically towards the end of the presentation. And yes,
Perfect.
it's available in Pennsylvania.
Wendy asks, is this platform accepted in all exemplar required states?
Yes, New York was one of the first states to acquire exemplars. Pennsylvania now does it. New Mexico now does it. Texas does it. Florida does it. So the short answer is yes.
Beautiful. Great questions, guys. All right, I'll turn it back over to you, Bill.
Okay, guys, you can go to our website right now. You can look at pricing, and you can also look at our Notary University. And at the Notary University, there's a host of training tapes, explains the program. What does your signer see? How do I prepare for a notarization session? What does a session look like? And then we have webinars. I think one of the more entertaining one is this Learn to Earn. We know that there's like 1 billion notarial transactions that occur in the United States every year. So I often ask my notaries during our demonstrations, what percentage of that 1 billion do you think occur in the mortgage market? Well, the short answer is 1.47, which begs the question, where do the other 98% occur? And that's where this webinar goes over. You can look at that right now. So you'll find us to be very transparent. But let's log into the platform as a notary and create a quick session. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is upload a document. Now, if you had a web page, again, remember Ron, IPEN, and e-signatures. If you had a web page that we give you and your client uploaded their document in an encrypted fashion, which is required in many verticals, it would arrive in your inbox here. I'm going to grab a home equity line of credit document from here, from my archive. A single document can be 150 pages, just one contiguous document. Packages are multiple individual documents. But I'm going to grab a document from this could be your invoice number. That's an internal number. And you click Next. Select the date and time, say tomorrow at 12:24. And for the demo, I'm going to select personal knowledge. And one other element up here is if you have 3 or 4 notaries in your network, you're going to leave it here. If you have a lot of notaries, we allow you to create queues. And a queue is a subset of your existing notary database, meaning a queue could be Spanish-speaking notaries. So it will send a broadcast out to all the notaries in that queue saying, can you do this assigning tomorrow? So it's often used in a signing service environment. Okay, and next. Okay, I'm going to add a signer, and I've added Jane before, so under my credentials, it remembers her information. Add a second signer, simple as that. Very, very simple. Add a witness, same thing. And is that a witness just going to observe the application of the signature for
Or
both Jane and John?
bank
Or,
statement and most recent.
Sorry,
well,
Bill. I'm gonna take away the ability to unmute so that doesn't happen anymore, guys. So just raise your hand if you have questions or type them in the chat.
okay, so let's assume that Mario is a credible witness for John. So in that case, Mario, of course, would have to go through a KBA and IDV. To add a guest, that's someone that's just going to be there. They can talk and they can see everything. It could be an accountant, an attorney, a title officer. It's just someone that's going to attend the signing. So for the purposes of the demonstration, I'm going to have one signing, and I'm going to undo that. I can't do a live deepfake because we're going through Zoom. but I will show you how that works. Again, if you had multiple notaries in your network, you just select the notary that's going to conduct this signing and click next. This is your journal where you identify the type of act or acts, the fee associated with the notarial act itself, and if your signer, again, I've done Jane before, so the platform under my login credentials remembers her information. But if Jane happened to be in another country today, you select the country she's in. Now, fortunately, we're going to say Jane is here in the US. And we're going to say Jane is in Arizona. Okay, and this is your notes entry. You can enter again before, during, or after. You can't erase them though. And what happens now? Forgot to put a zip code in, so the platform catches those mistakes. And we start tagging. Now, tagging is the tedious portion of a RON transaction. We have the ability to do auto tags. I can go over that, I go over that in our Wednesday demonstrations. But the basic workflow for tagging a document is we know, like many deeds of trust, that there's signatures or elements on various pages. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an initial to the bottom of this. Now, because I know this appears on various pages, I can select a multi-page signing, meaning that that signature or initial is going to be on pages 1, 5, and 6, and it's already placed there. I'm going to make the document a little bit bigger. I'm going to go to page 5 where I know the notary's, or excuse me, the signer's signature is going to appear. And I'm going to add Jane's signature. Make it a little bit bigger because I've elected in my setup, I want not only her signature representing her intent to execute, but I want the date and time she signed it and her name printed under the signature. Okay, I'm now going to go to page 6. And this is the notary page. I'm going to add the placeholder. And these should only be placeholders. This should not be a stamp image, guys, because just in the wet world, you don't stamp it before you go out to the signing. So from a compliance standpoint, make sure that this is just a placeholder. And same thing here, I can have my name, date printed under my signature. I'm going to add before me on, so I need a date. So I'm going to grab a date here, and that's going to be today. And I'm going to drop this here. And then I'm going to add in a text box the signer's name. And we'll go over this in more detail on our Wednesday live demos because we got a lot of stuff to cover. Now, let me show you something here that is critical and you are going to need is, let's say you get a doc set that has a Louisiana acknowledgement and you don't want to go through the strike-throughs and the initials, which you can. What you can do is you click here, you go out and you grab your state's acknowledgement, you upload it into the doc set. So now that 6-page doc set becomes a 7-page doc set. And it's an integral part of the doc set. It's not like a loose leaf acknowledgement. It becomes tamper sealed with the entire doc set. So on page 6, you can either delete that or you can add a text box that says see attached acknowledgement. And you can move pages around. If the client calls you and say, I got to replace page 3, 4, and 5, you can do that. In the extreme example, the client says, okay, you've got, unfortunately, we got a complete new redraw, and I'm sorry that I only let you know about this 5 minutes before the signing. And oh, by the way, don't be late. So you've just tagged an 80-page document. You can go into the platform. By clicking here, you remove the document out from under the tags. You slide the new document in under the tags. Now, you may have to move a few around, add or delete, but you don't have to reprep the entire document. You're going to have that event, so you should have that available to you. So we're going to assume that the document is prepared and we click next. And on this next page, it will give you here, do you want to review the document? I want to check my work. You can do that. Or you can just proceed and send this out. So this pop-up tells me it's scheduled for the 19th. It's going to sit on the platform until the 25th. If it's not executed by then, it will become deleted. You control this spread. This is where you would select your, if you wanted the default invite and instructional pop-ups to be in Spanish, this is where you would select it. It always defaults to English. You would have to actively choose Spanish to change that. You check their name, you check the ID validation process you're going to use. You could invoke deepfake. And you do have the ability to create an unlimited number of email invites. The invite that you would send, remember, this is branded. This has your email address if you own your domain. It has your logo, your script. And if your client was not personally known and had to go through ID and KBA, you could create this invite. One, it tests the network to make sure they're not behind a firewall that prevents an AV handshake. A video, how do I go through the ID process? And then another short video on how do I log on and share my screen. And again, you have the ability to create an unlimited number of these templates based on the scenario, based on the vertical. And you just send that out. And that's going to send an email to the notary. It's going to send an email to the signers. Bill, any questions during the preparatory process?
There was one question from Anna that just says, will the company specify whether they want the signature with date, time, and print?
Typically, the people that send you that request will dictate that. We do know that many documents will say sign here, then under that printed name of signer. So by incorporating the printed name within the signature frame, it satisfies that requirement.
Beautiful. And then before we get too much further down, can you explain what an exemplar state is for those who don't know what
Yeah,
that means?
an exemplar is an example of your notarial signature and your notarial seal stamp that is tamper sealed using an X509 digital certificate. So an example, New York or Florida or Texas requires you to submit to the Secretary of State a document that was operated through the platform. So in our platform, you go in, you create a document through iSign, you drag and drop your stamp and seal placeholder, click sign, and that shows them an example of the type of tamper sealing environment that you will be using in a live environment. So we have the forms for each state and the instructions on how to run that through the platform.
Beautiful. Thank you for that. We have a couple of questions about Arizona. I promise we'll ask those here at the end, but I don't want to interrupt too much more. Bill, are you going to continue with
Yep.
the beautiful?
Okay.
Thank
I
you.
want to see if can you see my screen still, or do we need to change?
No, you stop sharing.
Okay. Okay. Let me go to the Zoom. Let me share and share that screen here. Okay. Do you see it now?
I see we think you'll love these small shops. Oh, that's
That's
your,
not the one I wanted to
that's
show.
not the right screen.
That's not the right screen. Okay. Let me click on the Zoom link.
Here, I'll stop sharing that one.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
And I'm going to share my inbox. How about now?
Let's see what comes up here for us. Nope, it's your email inbox again.
Yeah, okay, great. Okay, that's
Okay.
what I wanted to see.
Okay,
So
good.
this is the email that your client would get. It would have your logo here. It would be your name, your script, but all the client needs to do to enter the session, be that on a cell phone, a tablet, a pad, a desktop, laptop, is click here and enter the security code. So they click here and a screen will pop up. They don't have to register. They can use it on any browser and just enter that 1542 security code to gain access to the document. Now, when they gain access, obviously they can't sign it. They can just look at it. If the client had to go through an ID evaluation and a KBA, that would be the first step. And then they would go through a deepfake, which I'll show you in a moment. But again, the client can log in technically as soon as they get the invite. And where that is of value is if you're in a jurisdiction that requires like KBA and IDV. The client can do those immediately. That way, if there's a problem with their ID evaluation, you're going to get a ping to your email that John Jones failed the KBA. You could call John and say, John, did you get a chance to look at the video? Did you know that none of the above was an appropriate answer? So those sort of elements. So that's important. Okay, getting a little bit of buffering here by going through the Zoom account. Let me see if it's populated
You
under
want me to
this.
you want me to stop sharing the email?
No, no, that's okay. That's all right.
Okay.
It
All right.
should populate any second.
Okay.
Let me do this. Sometimes that helps. Now, I don't know, Bill, if because we're going to, here we go. If we're going to another screen, if that it should display on this screen.
No, it doesn't. Zoom makes us, so I'll stop sharing this one. You'll have to choose that new window.
Gotcha. Okay. Okay, let me wait for that to populate. Okay, it's populating now. Okay, do you see that secure document access?
No, you have to start
Okay,
sharing your screen
okay,
again. Yeah,
let me go
sorry.
that. No, not there, it's not there.
Yeah, we're hearing some feedback. You really thought of everything, Bill.
Yeah, I wish. I learned something new every single day. Okay, now I did. There we go. That's the screen I want to share. So let me go to the Zoom. Do you,
Uh, no, I have to stop screen. You shared
yep,
your
yep.
email again. Sorry.
Okay, gotcha. Let me see if that will display it. How about now? Do you
Let's
see
see.
the,
Yes, secure document
there
access.
we
Yeah.
go. Hooray.
Right.
Okay, 1542 and enter here. And again, what this will do, it will take your client to the document where they can review it. They can look at it. If you want, you can allow them to download it. Um, that's up to you, but they can't sign or execute anything. Okay, so I'm going to select the right camera here, and I'm going to go to the Zoom. I'm going to turn off my camera and Zoom, Bill, because it will be robbing the signal if I don't.
Okay.
Okay. Video. Okay. Okay, so now I'm logged into the platform as the signer. So let's go and log in now as the notary. Okay, let me close this, open this. I may have to change screens again. Okay, let me move this toolbar. Okay. Do you see our login page, Bill?
No, we still see the
The
video
signer site.
sign test leave page.
Okay, so let me go here and
I'll hit the stop
stop,
sharing.
if you would please.
Yep, you got it.
I'll click share and go to that proper page. Let me make sure I'm displaying that. Yep, there it is. Okay. Okay, you should see it now.
Yes.
Okay,
Simple,
so I'm going to
smart,
log in
secured.
as the notary.
Okay.
Now we should, because we'll be viewing through the platform, we hopefully will not have to share that again. Okay, so you're going to go to your invitations, and this will bring up all your upcoming events. So in a moment, that will populate the session that we just prepped. Let me move this toolbar out of the way. Okay, there we are, and click Fill and Sign. And select my other camera. And I'm going to go to the meeting room. Okay, this pop-up lets me know that Jane's there. If she wasn't, I could send her a text or an email. And we start the meeting. Share the screen. Disprove simultaneous view. Now I should be able to flip over to the signer side without changing screen. Do you see the signer sign where it says join?
Let's see. I do not see a join. I see a round flower looking thing of options on the left and then
Okay.
prepared or under the
Yeah.
supervision of.
Okay, let's do this. Okay, let me go to my other side. Okay, let's go back to the signer side. Join. Okay, now I'm going to go back to the, oh, I think maybe the Zoom has reactivated the camera. No video. I'm going to go to the notary side. And I'm still, for some reason, I'm clicking where your screen sharing is paused.
But we can still see your
Okay, do you see the join button here where it says, or do you see the round wheel of fortune in the lower left-hand corner?
round wheel of fortune.
Okay. Again, guys, I apologize for this. Because I do have Zoom. Let me make sure my Zoom, I've disabled the camera in Zoom because I can only have two camera feeds. And if I disconnect the Zoom camera feed, your screen share, I'm going to pop up, it'll say your screen sharing is paused.
I think so. I see you might be sharing on two different kinds of platforms because I see a stop sharing platform, but I don't think that's Zoom
Yeah.
on there. So let me just stop sharing here on Zoom and see if that clears things up. And then you can share whichever screen you'd like to share with us.
Okay, let's do this. For some reason, I'm getting a pop-up that says inability to access microphone. Let me try this. And now you should see a screen that shows a join environment.
Yes, we see that.
Let's see, that's okay. It's still, for whatever reason, preventing me from sharing the screen. Well, let's do this. Let me, while we're in this pause mode, let me go to open up another browser. And I want to show you a deepfake. And this is opening actually a second session. So let's do this. Again, guys, apologize for the technological glitch here. I'm
That's
going
all right. It's been one of those days already with technology.
Okay, let me go to Zoom and share my other screen.
I've never been able to have two Zoom sessions going on at once, Bill. This will blow my
Yeah.
mind if you can do this.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Jamie says Mercury's in retrograde. Technology
Yes.
always fails.
Yeah, let's do this. Let me get out of here.
It's true.
Okay, and then open a single session here. No, it's attempting to show a second Zoom meeting. Okay, so let me go back to the signer and the notary side. Okay, here. Okay, do you see my screen now?
We see the document. Yes.
Yeah, okay. So what I'm going to have to kind of walk you through this. What would occur is you select here, and then you select the signer that you want to begin the signing. You click on their name, the screen will populate. You will get a pop-up that says you agree to the use of electronic signatures and digital technology. That is part of the audit log. The signer clicks their name, and the platform will go from element to element to element that is required to either be signed or data to be entered upon that element. And when you're all done, you get a green pop-up that says everything that Jane was supposed to sign, she signed. Now, let's assume that while Jane was going through the signature process, you saw that you missed something. Okay, you can say, okay, Jane, no worries. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add an initial that I missed. And this is going to happen. This is how you remediate something that you missed during the middle of a signing. You then return control back to Jane. Jane would then initial or sign those things or enter the data that you would miss during the initial preparatory process, sign, and then it returns back to you, and you could then select the next signer. You can also add a notarial element. If you missed a signature or a stamp, you can place that in the middle of the session. You can also add comments to your journal in the middle of the session. So if something's going and the signer doesn't see this, if something is unusual and you want to make note of it before you forget, you can do it in the middle of the signing. And I really want to show this deep fake. So let me close this out. Stop sharing here. I'm going to go back into Zoom. And I'm going to open up another browser. It's still asking me to create a whole new Zoom session. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's do this. And again, I apologize for that, guys.
No
Let me
worries.
go.
And just so you know, Bill, you're not sharing any screens right now, so we
Right.
can't see anything.
Okay. Okay, you should see a pricing page.
Yes.
Okay, how much does all this wonderful stuff cost you? And again, Wednesdays we have live demonstrations. It's configured so you'll be able to see both sides. But what this costs you is $430 a year for the first notary. The second notary, if you have a team, is only $120. So aggregated, that's like $275 each. That gives you the branding, it gives you the stamp, it gives you the signature, it gives you a certificate if you don't have to purchase your own. It allows you to use deepfake. It provides IPAN, REN, RON, e-signatures with video confirmation. So the analogy here is you paid $430, you bought the car. The car comes with a tank full of gas because we provide you $50 in either practice or executional credits. Now, as you know, you're required to record the session, and that's $5 per session. To do a knowledge-based authentication is $1, so now we're at 6. To add a stamp, and it could be a stamp associated with multiple people. Personally, if before me appeared John Jones and Mary Jones, and you add a stamp, that's 1 stamp. That's $6. An ID with biometric face matches, $3. So now we're at $10, and you bill your client whatever you bill your client. But what you have done is you reserved credit for this future transaction, and you bought it as soon as you got the assignment, so you don't have to invest in advance. That signing cancels, you close this one out, cancel it, and all those credits that were reserved for that future transaction are returned back to your account. So again, it's not a use it or lose it. You don't have to buy them until you need them. The platform comes with 600 document uploads, meaning you can upload 600 doc sets, and that's included with that 430. Okay, I'm sure we're going to get questions on pricing. Bill? Whoop.
Sure. For sure. In fact, there's already some asking about how much this will cost, and I'm sure this will spark some more conversations, but it seems like we have lots of Arizona questions, which is
Yeah,
interesting.
well, good. I'm in
And
Arizona.
you're right in Arizona, and
Yeah.
Arizona has a weird restriction on this. So maybe you can talk a little bit about how they can run a profitable run business in Arizona or a restrictive state like Arizona.
Yeah, you mean when you restrictive, you're talking about, okay, it limits the amount you can charge for a notarial act?
On for specifically for Ron is what they're asking.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, each state promulgates the rules that you can charge for the notarial act, not necessarily other things that you do. We have notaries in Arizona that are actually consultants to the Secretary of State that, like on a will and trust environment, she's charging $550. Her platform cost was $65. Preparing of the document, archiving the document, routing the document to other individuals is outside the preview of the Notarial Act. And we go over that in detail on our Wednesday signings. So some states only allow $5 for a RON transaction, which begs the question, well, why would anybody do a RON transaction if all they could charge was $5 and it cost them $10 to do it? You can't make up for that in volume. So
Right.
again, the states promulgate those rules associated with the Notarial Act itself. A number of states specifically now state, because there was a bit of confusion there, that you can charge a technology fee. So you want to check with your Secretary of State. But I work closely because I'm in Arizona with the Secretary of State. And again, you're restricted about what you can charge for the Notarial Act, but the other elements or services that you provide, you can charge additional fees. And again, we go over that in more detail on our Wednesday demonstration.
Beautiful. Great. Thank you. And I think that answers Susan's as well. Of course, you just want to confirm that with your Secretary of State.
Of course.
And let's see, any other questions, guys, on specifically the pricing? Feel free to raise your
Whoop.
hand or ask your question there. And I'm going to go back through some of the other questions that we had here.
Bill, I have a question.
Yeah,
Yes.
hey,
I have a
Judy.
question for Bill Gimbel. If something happens and the signing does not go through, just doesn't work
Mhm.
out for whatever
Sure.
reason, do you have to still pay for all of it, or
No, any unused actions associated with that signing are returned back to your account.
okay. Okay.
All right, great. And I think there's still, Joanne has a clarifying, well, she's asking if she has a statement, but she says all these charges shown make up the notarial act, so I'm not sure how it can be separated. Can you elaborate more on what I guess
Okay,
the bundled
here's the
fee would be?
here's the analogy which I use to at Secretary of State's meetings. You walk into a FedEx office and you say, "Here, I have a document that I need to have notarized. Here's my flash drive. Can you print that out and so that we can get it notarized, prepare it to be notarized?" You get a charge for that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, now you notarize the document and say, "You know what? I need some copies made because I need to send it to these 3 people." There's a charge for that. Okay, now let's flip that scenario around. Okay, somebody sends you a document to be signed. You have to prepare it, i.e. print it. So you're prepping the document, adding the signatures, adding the check boxes, the data entry boxes, the notarial acts. Okay, then now you say, okay, I want that document sent to me and I want it to send to the 3 or 4 people. You send that out. So that what that does is that creates an environment that you can then charge additional for. So again, those are elements that's beyond the notarial act itself. Again, archiving documents, forwarding documents on your behalf, preparing the document. Those are elements outside the notarial act preview.
Awesome. Thank you for that analogy. I hope that answers that for you as well. Great example of how to bundle services into this. Susan asks, are we able to join the Wednesday training before we actually subscribe, or is that for
Absolutely.
subscribers only?
Absolutely. It's right here. You can go to www. Well, actually, you can go to help desk at Secured Signing and say, I want to attend the Wednesday demonstration. Now, because of the special influence attributes of both Bill and Judy, I'm allowing you guys to join, which is normally available only to subscribers, the training class on Thursdays. So just send me, and that goes into much more detail. So if you send a email to help desk at Secured Signing, say, please send me a link to Wednesday's demo, or I was part of the Bill Soroka, Judy Lawrence webinar, please send me an invite to the advanced training class.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Let's see, we got a couple more. So Dan asked, what about the need for electronic notary seal? How is that handled here? Some platforms handle it within, others say it's Adobe specific or a digital seal. They make you go outside. So what do you guys do for this?
Okay, for the physical image of the stamp, we make that for you. Now, if you're talking about the X509 digital signature certificate, some states allow you to use this, what's called a server-side X509 to tamper seal the documents. Other states like Florida, like Arizona, like New York, require that the notary go out and purchase their own individually issued X509 digital certificate. And we are not a federally recognized certificate authority. We recommend a Dent Trust because they have a great customer service department. But that election is based on state by state provisions. We have no control over that. So if your state allows you to use our server-side cert, that's included.
All right, beautiful. Good to know. Guys, can you see how much the state specific details are so important? Start with your statutes.
And if you request attributes or questions, when you do go to the help desk at Secured Signing, which you can do at any time, please let us know which state you're in so we can give you an appropriate state specific response.
Yeah, great. Okay, let's see what other questions we have here. I saw a couple more in here. Let's see. Guys, if you're looking for the email again, I typed it into the chat as well. It's on the screen here up at the top here. Helpdesk at securedsigning.com if you'd like to participate in that Wednesday training.
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, I think you answered all of the questions here, Bill. Any other questions? Last minute, last chance.
Going once.
Is recording the signing an additional charge, says Marcy.
Additional, yes, that's 5 credits or $5. Now we do archive that for you on your behalf for 10 years. That's included in the charge. You do have the ability also to download that recording yourself. And as a best practice, I do recommend notaries go to like Costco and buy a $95 5 terabyte hard drive and physically plug that into your computer. And from our platform, you can download the recording, you can download your journal, store that, unplug it, and put it in your safe. It's just a good practice. But we will also store that for you as well as have a backup at AWS.
Great. Thank you. When will, oh, okay. That's for me. Guys, I'll have the replay out hopefully later today. Latest tomorrow. We'll have that up. It'll be on my YouTube channel as well. Well, at youtube.com/notary coach. Send that out via email. And I think that may have done it. Bill, thank
I
you
see a
so
question.
much.
Wait, I
Oh,
see a
got one?
question. Is there live help during a Ron session in case issues arise?
Ooh, great question.
Yeah, we do have a help desk that staffs 6 days a week, 18 hours a day.
Okay.
That said, there is no platform out there that has someone standing by waiting for Bob if see if he has a question in the middle of a signing. We attend as best we can, but I don't want to guarantee that you're in the middle of signing and you call us or send a message to the help desk that we're going to pick up immediately and resolve it. That's why training and practice is so important. I don't want to mislead you in that regard in any way. Typically we can, but don't depend on it.
Yeah, great. Thank you for that transparency.
And I think if there are 4 or 5 of us here today that decide, because I'm just learning too, maybe we could form our own little group and help each other learn.
Absolutely. You can enjoin other notaries in under your subscription if you like, and again
Mhm.
to transact those acts that you're prohibited from doing in your venue. Uh, if you It's very common for notaries to ask, hey, can you give me the name of 2 or 3 notaries that I can practice with, or 2 or 3 notaries that can act as a witness on my behalf in that environment? So they know the platform, they know how it works, there's no glitches. That's a very common request. Give me the name of 2 or 3 people that I can use as witnesses.
Mhm.
Bill, I think you're kind of dancing around and touching on, I think, one of the most critical values that Ron brings to us as entrepreneurs, but as the public who just needs to get stuff done, is that in your state, you might have certain requirements that you have to meet that maybe your signers can't, but there are other states that still allow Ron that have different requirements for IDs and
Correct.
that in particular. Can you talk a little bit about the importance of building that kind of network to get
Yeah,
stuff done?
absolutely. And the number one most common use of that environment is if you have, and we know in the mortgage industry, it's a seller buyer market right now, not a refi market. So you have many foreign buyers, and your foreign buyer will not have the ability to pass a KBA. So if your venue requires both, as many do, both a KBA and an ID valuation, you can't do that. So you would have to join with your group, let's say a Florida notary, where they can use ID validation with biometric face match as the sole means of ID validation. There are 8 states that allow that. Probably the second most common one is if you're doing a will or a trust. The scenario there is there are certain states that do not allow a will to be signed electronically. It has nothing to do with the notarization. But if you can't sign it electronically, you can't notarize it electronically, obviously. So you could enjoin in those notaries in those states that allow for the electronic transaction of a will or a trust. Again, under the concept that you don't turn down business from those people that request you, you would farm that out to those most capable and compliant individuals in your network.
And you can build that team right here on subscription.
Absolutely.
So, and I can't help. I mean, we got the Queen of Apostees here, right? Can't
Absolutely.
help but be thinking about how that ties into e-apps, in particular with Montana, when you need to get those e-apostees done. This helps you build that kind of network.
Yep.
And so states like mine, Pennsylvania, they accept remotely notarized documents for apostille.
Yeah, that
So,
really makes it convenient.
and there's a question in here, and it says, how do we find out which states do not allow that? You have to just do your little bit of research. What state are you in, Marcy Meyer,
South Dakota.
South Dakota? Um, yeah, I would just check and see if they. I think that is a Ron state.
Yeah, it
Oh,
is a
yeah,
run state. I know
definitely
that.
is.
But with
Yeah,
regards to apostilles, I'm not sure.
right.
Right. And so, Marcy, I think what you're saying is again, you'll run into roadblocks. You're like, oh, I can't do that in my state. But when you are a remote online notary, think outside the box because there are so many other states that have just different rules. And I think that's the important of having a community too. And luckily you're in high performance notary. So we can talk about those things because you can say, hey, I'm running into this problem where I can't identify this type of signer because of this, and you'll get resources that say, hey, I'm in Florida, I can do this. There are states that are a lot more relaxed about some of those things.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Okay, great questions, guys. Thank you, Bill, for elaborating on the value of the network to take care of your customer. I think that's really important. Judy, thank you for the introduction and helping to make this possible. And of
Mhm.
course, thank you to all of you. I think we were up to almost 100 people
We
here on a
were.
Tuesday
Yeah.
afternoon learning about this. Bill, any closing words you'd like to say about building a Ron business or tapping into what secured signing has to offer?
Yes, a couple of things. I encourage you, and you can do that right now without subscribing. Log in and go to Notary University and look at the Learn to Earn webinar. It goes over various verticals outside the mortgage market that you should participate in to round out your market liability. You don't want to be hooked to only the mortgage industry. Uh, the platform does allow e-signatures with video confirmation, in-person electronic notarization so that you can migrate your customers if they're giving you paper-based assignments. Say, hey, do you know I can still meet with your customers at their house, but I can do this on my tablet or laptop, and you're going to get the documents back that same day, immediately. Clients are going to get a signed package. It's tamper sealed, it's more secure, it's more portable, it's verifiable. And that's a great way of weaning those paper-based signings into RON signings or IPEN signings. Remember that the platform is brandable. The platform comes with white label brochures, so you can advertise those either through the net or print and leave behind. Brochures for RON, brochures for IPEN, brochures for e-signatures, and you're going to put your label on it, your logo, your contact information. And again, on our Thursday meetings, we go over marketing as well. So that's something that's very important to help you build your business. So again, the takeaway here is make sure you're using a secure, compliant platform, one that's been around for a while, like us, 15 years, and that has onboarding and training that are live and on a regular basis. You know, because it's a lot to learn. I'll be honest with you. It really is. I again believe Notary is to Ron what Excel was to accountants years ago. It's a paradigm shift, and we're here to help you with that.
Love that. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. Guys, I'm going to post the link to the free um, high performance notary community, as well as the secured signings platform. You can join us for free at school.com/notary. And then I'm going to just pull up really quick here. There we go. If you want to check out secured signing, I'm going to post that link right here in the chat for you. So it's really easy to grab. Of course, that's just securedsigning.com. So very easy to remember that way. And of course, I'm going to send this out in the replay. I'm going to include the checklist that will help you evaluate other platforms too, right? And I think Bill's super clear about this. I love your transparency, Bill, on this whole thing. Is this isn't about secured signing being the absolute best, although it has clearly the reputation for being that, but it's also just going to help you choose the platform that might be right for you. And you can make a conscious decision, not just a default decision about this. Super important there. So, Bill, I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for being here
You're
today.
welcome. Very
All right,
well.
guys.
And
Thank you.
I want to just reiterate something. Once you decide to do this, and if there's at least four or five of us, six of us, this is how I learned Ron to begin with. Let's start a little group and we can mess around with it and make our mistakes and teach each other and help each other. So I posted my phone number in the chat for you.
Beautiful. And I'll
Great.
tell you what, too, if you're in high performance notary, I'll start a little forum feed that's just about secured signing and
Great idea.
starting the exploration. I'll include all the resources inside there for us. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Thanks.
Bye
Great.
bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.